I'd like you to recall in your lifetime somebody before the age of 16, when you were before 16, that made a huge impact on your life, that really, really had such a force that it's still with you. Think about that person before you were 16 who had such a positive influence on you. Now my question to you is, was that person that you're thinking in mind, is it because that person was an interesting person, or was it because that person was interested in you? And almost the vast majority of people say that the power came from they were interested in the person, and the person was positive. It wasn't interesting. They could have been interesting, but the power of that person, or the positive impact, was that they were interested. In fact, the more interested people are in you, or in whatever it is they're dealing with, often the more interesting they become. And so when people get in front of a room and be interesting, well, they get entertained from that space. But if you want to see leadership and movement and change, you want to come from the space of interested. They did a study at Stanford where they interviewed people for jobs. And what was so interesting about that was that the people who got offered the jobs did far less talking than those who didn't get the jobs. And what they found was it's almost inversely proportional to the more that the interviewer talked, the more likely you were as an interviewee to get a job offer. Inversely proportional. So the more interested you are, the more interesting you become and the more powerful you become. So think about that in your relationship with whomever, your spouse or anybody, your children. This is the space where they're going to remember this is the space of power, not this space, in terms of personal power and leadership.